almost spring equinox time, the time when nighttime and daytime are roughly equal. It's definitely comet month with some binocular beauties to beholden. Join me, Lead Night Sky Ranger Jeff, otherwise known as Star Dad, for an in-depth look at what's up in the sky in March of 2024. This is also the month when we decide to play havoc with our natural circadian rhythms as we continue, for some unknown reason, to mess with time zones and declare this to be in daylight savings time, which doesn't save anything but costs a lot in terms of human discomfort for days, if not weeks. When will the madness end? Mercury is at its best viewing for the year. It is elongated from the Sun by a whopping 19 degrees on March 24th at magnitude -0.3. However, at sunset, it's only 18 degrees above the horizon, and 30 minutes later, when the Sun has darkened, it's only 3 degrees above the western horizon. At magnitude -1.5, it is quite bright, and being close to the Sun will assure that you have the right target. At 6 arc seconds in size, you will need a significant amount of amplification to resolve any details. Still, you should be able to see its phase, much like the Moon's phases. Between the 10th and 22nd, it will go from 89% lit to 50% lit. Venus is riding low in the eastern sky at 4 degrees an hour before sunrise. At magnitude -3.9, it will be the brightest object to the east. Spring is upon us, and now we are going to view a rather large crater in the southeast of the Moon. Look for crater Maurolycus, a 70-mile impact crater. The crater is named after an Italian mathematician. According to Wikipedia, quote, his De Sphera Liber Unus, published in 1575, contains a fierce attack against Copernicus's heliocentrism, in which Maurolyco writes that Copernicus, quote, deserved a whip or a scourge rather than a refutation, unquote. Well, we all know how that turned out. Copernicus was correct. In any case, we observe this crater on the 16th. You will note a smooth floor where lava welled up, but not enough to obliterate the central rebound peak. Observe numerous smaller craters, which are newer, that surround Maurolycus, especially to the northwest. Then scan to the north to a similar crater arrangement around Gemma Frisius. Once again, we see that the impossible becomes possible. Frisius was a cartographer and mathematician. He improved various instruments, including the astrolabe. According to Wikipedia, quote, he was the first to describe how an accurate clock could be used to determine longitude. Jean-Baptiste Morin did not believe that Frisius's method for calculating longitude would work, remarking, quote, I do not know if the devil will succeed in making a longitude timekeeper, but it is folly for man to try it, unquote. It took 2 centuries before John Harrison produced a sufficiently accurate clock, unquote from Wikipedia. Mars, like Venus, is a late riser, being close by Venus on the 1st. It will slowly separate over the month. At magnitude 1.3, it will be significantly dimmer than that of the goddess. By the end of the month, Venus, Saturn, and Mars will all be in alignment. The god of war rises early at 0530, Saturn 20 minutes later, followed by a lazy Venus 15 minutes after that. Vesta 4 is our asteroid of the month. You will find it in Taurus the Bull's horn, Zeta. It will shine at 8th magnitude, so a small telescope or binoculars will be required to view this 300-mile wide minor planet. Throughout the month, it will be heading towards Gemini through Orion, starting near M1 and ending near M35 and NGC 2158. This is perhaps the last good month for viewing Jupiter in the early evening sky, as we observe the king of planets sliding behind the Sun. From sunset to 11 p.m., it rides high up in the sky, settling to the west. By the end of the month, Jupiter will only be 15 degrees above the horizon at sunset. Most transits of its moon occur later in the night, so I will not post any of them this month. As a rule of thumb, one should avoid looking at objects close to the horizon, as light has more atmosphere to pass through and gets more and more distorted by atmospheric turbulence and dust. Shining at magnitude -2.2, it's hard to miss it, as it is the brightest object in the night sky. Saturn is just coming out of conjunction with the Sun and can be found very low on the horizon in the southeast on the 21st. Uranus starts the month about 8 degrees to the northeast of Jupiter. During the month, Uranus and Jupiter will get within 3.5 degrees of each other. On March 13th, 1781, William Herschel discovered this remote planet that lies some 20 astronomical units from the Sun. It was then believed to be the edge of the solar system. Only later observations would lead to the search for a more distant planet, which is affecting its orbit. That would be our next object, Neptune. However, Neptune is in conjunction with the Sun and not viewable. Comets are in abundance this month. 12P Pons Brook will be 15 degrees above the horizon 90 minutes after sunset. You will want 100 power to be able to discern the coma well. We might get a long ion tail to observe as the Sun warms the ice ball and material sublimates from its surface. Sublimation is going directly from a solid to a gaseous state. Look for 12P in Andromeda. Comet 144P Kushida is in Gemini, while 62P Shushishan 1 is in Virgo. And finally, C 2021 S3 Pan-STARRS is in Aquila. Be sure to reference the Minor Planet Ephemeris Center for exact locations of these icy bodies. There are no meteor showers this month. Our constellation of the month is Hydra the Snake. Located to the east of Monoceros, the Unicorn, it is a long, thin constellation with the sextant to its east. Look for our object of the month, Charles Messier's 48th entry, M48, an open cluster of stars of magnitude 5.8, easily seen with a small telescope or binoculars. At 9 p.m. of the 15th, it will lie about halfway up the sky, 41 degrees, and to the south-southeast at 166 degrees. It contains somewhere between 50 and 100 stars. Our question of the month is, why is life on Earth carbon-based? First off, basic chemistry can easily explain it. Carbon is the party animal of the elements. It is willing to bond with a plethora of other atoms. The human body, for example, is composed of 65% oxygen, 18.5% carbon, 9.5% hydrogen, 3.3% nitrogen, and the rest is an assortment of other elements. Most of the hydrogen and oxygen are actually combined to form the famous molecule H2O, or water. Since most of those two elements are combined as water, that leaves carbon as the next most common element. Carbon can bond to as many as 4 other atoms, thus providing an almost limitless chain of molecules. Carbon molecules are generally referred to as organic molecules. There is more to this, but I hope this gets the main point across that carbon is an amazing element. Because of this, our search for life is primarily carbon-based. Here is the monthly orrery. Here's the calendar of events. Here's the music I used. Go out and enjoy the cool, crisp evenings of March before the summer heat begins to warm up our planet.